প্ৰিয় শিক্ষাৰ্থীসকল, কৃষ্ণকান্ত সন্দিকৈ ৰাজ্যিক মুক্ত বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ বিদ্যায়তনিক দৃশ্য শ্ৰাব্য অনুষ্ঠানটিলৈ আপোনালোকক স্বাগতম জনাইছো। স্বয়ং প্ৰভা DTH চেনেল 20ৰ যোগেদি শিক্ষাৰ্থীসকলৰ অধ্যয়ন কাৰ্য অধিক মনোগ্ৰাহী আৰু ফলপ্ৰসূ হোৱালৈ লক্ষ্য ৰাখি বিভিন্ন বিষয় সামৰি আমাৰ এই বিদ্যায়তনিক অনুষ্ঠানটি সজোৱা হৈছে। আহকচোন প্ৰিয় দৰ্শকসকল, আমাৰ আজিৰ খণ্ডটিৰ মাজলৈ আগবাঢ়ো।
Today we will be discussing about the different concepts in the Unit-8 of your BA first semester course, Introduction to Economic Theory. The title of the unit is Cost of Production and Cost Curves, and this is part 1 of the videos. In fact, there are total 3 parts, and let us start with the first part. Dear learners, in the previous video, we had discussed theory of production. In this video, we shall discuss theory of cost, which is very important in understanding the theories of production. We all know cost plays an important role in taking any production decision. Thus, cost of production is the most powerful force governing the supply of a product, which also may influence the price of the commodity. A cost function is a derived function in the sense that it is derived from the production function. The relation between cost and output is known as cost function. That is, it relates the cost of production to the firm's level of output. For a better explanation of production decision and price theory, it is necessary to know the various frequently applied concepts of cost. Let us discuss these concepts. Money cost. Money costs are the total money expenses incurred by a firm for purchasing the inputs together with certain other items. The other items include wages and salaries of workers, cost of raw materials, expenditures on capital equipment, depreciation cost, rent on buildings, interest on capital invested and borrowed, and advertisement and transportation cost, also insurance, charges, taxes, and so on. Please note, the term depreciation here refers to a reduction in value, that is, writing down the capital value of an asset over a period of time in the company's accounts. Money costs are also called nominal cost or expenses of production. Real cost. Some elements always lies behind the money cost which cannot be explicitly measured. The efforts and sacrifices made by the capitalist to save and invest, the foregone leisure by the workers are some examples of real cost. Marshall defined such expenditures as real cost. An unpleasant work does not always carry high wages, and a pleasant work does not carry low wages. Thus, it can be said that money cost and real cost do not correspond to each other. Accounting cost and economic cost. Please note that the concept of cost as conceived by an accountant is different from the idea conceived by an economist. When an entrepreneur undertakes an act of production, he has to pay prices to the factors of production. For example, he pays wages to the workers employed, buys raw material, pays rent and interest on money borrowed, etc. All these are included in the cost of production and are termed as accounting cost. On the other hand, economic cost includes the return on capital invested by the entrepreneur himself in his own business plus the salary or wages the entrepreneur could have earned if the services had been employed somewhere else, and the monetary reward for all factors employed by him. Thus, economic cost takes into account not only the accounting cost but also the amount the entrepreneur could have earned in the next best alternative employment. Opposite cost or alternative cost. The opposite cost of any good is the next best alternative good that is sacrificed. Since resources are scarce, they cannot be put to use simultaneously. If they are used to produce one thing, they have to be withdrawn from other uses. For example, a plot of land can be used to produce either rice or wheat, and it is employed to produce rice. It means that we have sacrificed the quantity of wheat for rice. The opportunity cost is the cost incurred in the production of rice instead of wheat. Sunk cost. Now another important concept in the theory of cost is the sunk cost. Sunk cost is an expenditure that has been made and cannot be recovered. For example, let us take the case of a producer who buys a specialized equipment designed for a particular purpose. That equipment can be used to do only what it was originally designed for and cannot be converted for original use. It has no alternative use and therefore its opposite cost is zero. The expenditure on this equipment is called sunk cost. With this, we have come to the end of the first part of the videos on theory of cost. In the next videos, we shall discuss the nature of cost curves in the short run and in the long run. Thank you.
UGC, DV and Government of Assam recognized PhD, MPhil, Masters, Bachelors, Diploma and Certificate programs with online learning facilities brought to you by Northeast India's first and only state open university, Krishnakanta Hendik State Open University. Education beyond barriers. For admission and all other information, visit www.kkhsou.in and subscribe for admission alert.
Dear learners, this is the part 2 of the videos on the unit theory of cost and cost curves. Dear learners, in the previous video we had discussed theory of production. In this video we shall discuss nature of cost curves in the short run. We shall conclude this unit with the discussion of long run cost curves in the next video. Let us now discuss short run cost curves. As we have already discussed, the short run is a period in which the firm cannot change its plan, equipment and the scale of organization. Thus, during the short run, to increase output, the firm can only employ more variable factors with the same quantity of fixed factor. The total cost in the short run may further be divided into total variable and total fixed cost. The total variable costs are those expenses of production which change with the changes in total output of the firm. It means that they can be adjusted with the changes in output level. For example, a bread producer wants to increase the production of bread from 200 to 350 units. Now he will require more wheat and more laborers. Therefore, expenditure on these two items is called variable cost. Variable costs are also called primary cost or indirect cost. Variable costs include expenditure on labor, raw material, power, fuel, etc. On the other hand, some components of production cannot be varied in the short run. For example, our hypothetical bread producer cannot increase its plant size quickly in the short run. He has to collect capital and order the equipment for purchasing. Such expenditure on capital equipment, building, top management personnel, contextual rent, insurance fee, interest on capital invested, maintenance cost, tax, etc. are called fixed cost. It is called so because it cannot be adjusted in the short run. Fixed cost is the cost which does not vary with the level of output. The fixed costs are also known as overhead cost. Both total fixed cost, let us call it TFC, and total variable cost, TVC, together constitute total cost, TC. Thus, TC is equal to TVC plus TFC, that is total cost is equal to total variable cost plus total fixed cost. Let us explain the concept with the help of the following table 8.1, which corresponds to short run. When the firm produces nothing, the total fixed cost is 150. In the short run, total fixed cost remains the same, although there is increase in output. Total variable cost is 0 when the firm produces nothing. Now here we can see the table which shows total fixed cost, total variable cost and total cost in the short run. Okay. So when the output is 0, total fixed cost is 150. There is no total variable cost, so total cost is ultimately 150. When output is 1, total fixed cost is 150, total variable cost is 50, total cost is 200. So marginal cost is 50. We will discuss the concept of marginal cost later on. Okay. Now average fixed cost, okay, when you divide total fixed cost by the number of units, okay, it's 150. Average variable cost is 50 and average total cost is 200. Similarly, when output is 2, total fixed cost is again 150, it remains the same. Total variable cost is 80, thus total cost comes up to 230. Marginal cost is, in this case, is 30. Average fixed cost is 75. Average variable cost is 40, and average total cost is 165. Okay, so accordingly you can see the different total fixed cost, total variable cost, total cost, marginal cost, average fixed cost, average variable cost, and average total cost at different levels of output. Okay, the distinction between fixed and variable cost will be clear from the following figure 8.1. Okay, let us present these figures graphically. In figure 8.1, total fixed cost is parallel to the x-axis because in the short run it will remain constant whatever the level of output the farm can produce. Even if the farm does not produce anything, the producer has to bear the total fixed cost. On the other hand, the total variable cost curve, TVC, will start from the origin, meaning that if there is no production, TVC will be 0. Further, it can be seen that the TVC moves upward, showing that as output increases, the total variable cost also increases. The vertical summation of total variable cost and total fixed cost gives the total cost of the farm. Now, average cost curves. Dear learners, so far we have discussed total variable and total fixed cost. But in economics, the concept of cost is discussed in the context of per unit instead of total cost, so that a better idea about profit is conceived instantly. Therefore, we are going to discuss the short-term average cost curve. Average total cost, ATC or average cost. Okay? The average total cost is also called average cost. It is derived by dividing the total cost by the quantity produced. We have already studied the total cost is nothing but the sum total of total fixed cost and total variable cost. Thus, ATC we can derive by dividing TC by Q, or ATC is equal to TVC plus TFC divided by Q, or TVC by Q plus TFC by Q. So we get AVC plus AFC. Okay, here Q is the total output produced. It means that average cost is the sum total of average variable cost AVC and average fixed cost AFC. Now, what are these average fixed cost and average variable cost? Average fixed cost, okay, let us discuss the concept. If the total fixed cost is divided by the total number of units of output produced, we can arrive at average fixed cost. Thus, AFC is equal to TFC by Q, where Q is the number of total output produced. AFC represents average variable cost and TFC represents total fixed cost. And average variable cost is the total variable cost divided by the number of units of output produced. It can be calculated in the following way. AVC is equal to total variable cost TVC divided by Q, where Q stands for the total output produced. The average variable cost will generally fall as output increases from 0 to the normal capacity of output. But beyond the normal capacity of output, it will rise steeply because the operation of the law of diminishing returns. The shapes of average cost, average fixed cost, and average variable cost have been shown in figure 8.2. From figure 8.2, it is clear that AFC curve gradually falls down as more and more output is produced. We know that fixed cost does not sense in the short run. Therefore, an increase in output produced reduces the AFC, and AFC curve falls downward gradually. From column 6 of table 8.1 that we discussed earlier, we can see that the amount of fixed cost is falling as production is increasing. The AVC will generally fall as output increases from 0 to the normal capacity output. But beyond the normal capacity of output, it will rise steeply because of the operation of the law of diminishing returns, as we have already discussed. Now, marginal cost. Okay, let us discuss the concept of marginal cost. Dear learners, we shall now discuss the concept of marginal cost. However, before discussing the concept, let us go back to the concept of marginal product we have already discussed in our earlier units. Marginal product is an additional output produced. For example, a producer produces 100 units. When he produces 101 units, the extra unit is called marginal output. Therefore, the marginal cost is an addition to the total cost incurred on the production of that additional or marginal unit. Since total fixed cost does not undergo any change in the short run, marginal cost may also be called an addition to the total variable cost in the short run. There is a direct relationship between AC and MC, that is average cost and marginal cost. When AC falls, MC also falls, but it is below average cost. When average cost rises, marginal cost is above it, and average cost equals marginal cost at the lowest point of average cost. Let us again draw AC and MC curves separately on the paper as has been depicted on the following figure 8.3. From the figure 8.3, it is clear that to the right of output Q, MC is higher than AC, and to the left of Q, MC is lower than AC. But at output level Q, MC is equal to AC. Thus we find that if MC is less than AC, then AC will be falling as output increases. If marginal cost is greater than average cost, then average cost will be rising as output increases. And at point Q, where AC is minimum, we have AC is equal to MC, that is average cost is equal to marginal cost. Dear learners, in this video, we have discussed the different short-run cost curves. In the next video, we shall discuss the different cost curves in the long run. The discussion of the unit shall conclude with the discussion of long-run cost curves in the next video. Thank you. Dear learners, welcome back. This is the concluding part, in fact part 3 of the unit cost of production and cost curves. Here we shall discuss about the nature of cost curves in the long run. Dear learners, in the previous video, we had discussed the nature of cost curves in the short run. In this video, we shall discuss the nature and shapes of the long run cost curves. The discussion of Unit-8 entitled Cost of Production and Cost Curves concludes with this video. We all know that long run is the period when a firm can change its plant size and scale of organization. In the long run, all factors are variable. Now, the question is, how short is the short run and how long is the long run? This depends on the industry and the production techniques used. The period of length will vary from firm to firm. If there are no transactions and no special inputs, then all inputs can be quickly adjusted and the long run is not very long. Dear learners, let us first discuss how average cost curve is derived in the long run. We all know that a particular plant can produce a particular range of output. It is the lowest point of average cost curve beyond which production is not economic because of operation of the law of diminishing returns, which may occur for various reasons. Suppose the demand for a firm's product increases. Now, the producer will install a new plant. The firm will be making use of the newly installed plant till it reaches the lowest point on the average cost curve. This way, more new plants will be installed with the increase in demand for the firm's product. Now, we will derive the long run average cost curve, LAC, from the short run average cost curves by fitting a line which is tangent to all short run average cost curves, that is SAC curves. The point of tangency must be the lowest point on the short run average cost curve because beyond that the firm will not produce in the plant. This we have shown in figure 8.4. In figure 8.4, LAC is the long run average cost curve. Each point on the LAC curve is a point of tangency with the corresponding short run average cost curve. Therefore, this long run average cost curve is also called envelope curve. The firm will produce OM amount of output at the minimum point E on the LAC curve. If the firm produces less than OM, it is not reaping fully the economies of production, and if the firm produces beyond OM, the firm profit will fall. In both the cases, the average cost of production will be higher. Dear learners, please note that in figure 8.4, the shape of the long run average cost is like U. This shape reflects the law of returns to scale. According to this law, the unit cost of production decreases as plant size increases due to the economies of scale which the larger plant size make possible. It has been assumed that this plant is completely inflexible. There is no reverse capacity, not even to meet the temporary rising demand. If this plant size increases further, then this optimum size, there are these economies of scale. The turning up of the LAC curve is due to marginal diseconomies of scale when output is increased beyond the optimum size. The long run marginal cost can be derived from the short run marginal cost, but it does not envelop them like the LAC curve. The long run marginal curve is formed from the point of intersection of the short run marginal curves with vertical lines to the x-axis drawn from the points of tangency of the corresponding SAC curves and the LAC curve. At that level of output, the LMC must be equal to SMC curve at which the corresponding SAC curve is tangent to the LAC curve. The shape of the long run marginal cost curves has been shown with the help of figure 8.5. In figure 8.5, let us start with the point A, which is a point of tangency between SAC and LAC. From this point, a vertical line AA is drawn on the x-axis and it cuts the SMC1 at point P. Similarly, B and C are the other 2 points of tangency between the two SCC curves and LSC curve. Corresponding to these 2 points of tangency, the point of intersection between vertical lines BB and CC are Q and C. After joining P, Q and C, we get LMC curve. At this minimum point C, the LMC curve intersects the LAC curve. Long run marginal cost bears direct relationship with the long run average cost. When both LAC and LMC fall, LMC is lower than LAC, but LAC and LMC both increases, LMC is higher than LAC. But LMC cuts the LAC at the lowest point. The same relationship between SC and MC is true in the short run as well. So dear learners, this video as well as the discussion on Unit 8 concludes with this. In the next video, we shall discuss Unit 9 of the first semester course in economic theory, which is basically primarily focused on equilibrium of firms and industry. Thank you.
ইমান সময় আমি স্বয়ং প্ৰভা DTH চেনেল 20 যোগে সম্প্ৰচাৰিত কৃষ্ণকান্ত সন্দিকৈ ৰাজ্যিক মুক্ত বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ বিদ্যায়তনিক অনুষ্ঠানটিৰ আজিৰ খণ্ডটি উপভোগ কৰিলো। এই বিদ্যায়তনিক অনুষ্ঠানটিৰ জৰিয়তে শিক্ষাৰ্থীসকল নিশ্চয়কৈ ভালেখিনি উপকৃত হৈছে। পুনৰ আন এটি বিষয় লৈ আমি আপোনালোকৰ মাজলৈ আহিম। নমস্কাৰ।